If you haven't seen part 1, you won't want to miss it. The link is at the top of the description. After she went to bed, I went out and got the voice recorder and listened through it, and heard her begging to go back to their office to do the deed, amongst other things. I couldn't even figure out how to react. She was never like this at home and sounded nearly deranged in how much she wanted to be with him. I listened through this all, go in and wake her up and tell her we need to talk. I ask if she's cheating, she denies. I ask her about the name of the bar she was at, she denies even knowing what it is. I told her I was there earlier today and saw some interesting things. She immediately asked if I followed her. How could I? And is there a tracker in my car? You have to tell me. I'm going to have a panic attack. You can't just track me. Again, insane. I told her I read her texts from a few weeks ago and went to the bar where she said she was meeting S, her boss. This turns into opening her phone to show me no such texts exist anymore, which I think she thought would negate the fact I went there and saw them. So crazy thinking about it. Finally, she says that yes, she's been seeing S, they've been together a few times, and finally, if I make her stop seeing him she won't love me anymore. Somehow, this works on me. I had no self-confidence, didn't like divorce as an institution, and figured being with someone to split the bills was better than being alone. And for a few months that was it. She'd have meetups with him, I would try to talk her out of it. There were crazy moments. S had other girlfriends and L knew about them and got jealous of them. One time she came home, sobbing, and I hugged her while she told me that she thought S was breaking up with her for someone else. I just went inside. I don't think I felt anything other than a kind of ironic humor in it, like an eye-rolling feeling. Still don't know why I stuck around after that. And of course they kept seeing each other. Around this point she also started having ons with random other guys. I found out about a few of them over the years and suspect a few more. Finally I drove myself into having a panic disorder and decided enough was enough. I gave her the voice recorder and demanded she break it off with S and record herself while she's telling him where I'm out. She cries but finally relents. The next day she does what I asked. When S found out I knew he immediately panicked, and I gotta watch those texts come in on L's new Apple Watch that she didn't realize doesn't delete texts that you remove from your phone. Things settled a bit, and we went to marriage counseling for a session. I agreed to not tell the counselor about her infidelity this session, as the condition for L to even go. The counselor then spent the whole session telling me I was smothering L by wanting to go through her phone and know where she was, which I only started doing after the cheating. We never went back. That was 2015 to 2016. After that we stayed together, and about twice a year I'd find some new infidelity. Once she was drunk and did oral on a guy she works with in the bathroom. Once on a work trip out of state she started texting a guy and started the weirdest I've ever heard of. A decent chunk of his texts were about how his grandma had to wipe his butt until he was in his mid-teens and he liked it. The whole time I just got used to pain shopping. It almost became a game for us, where she'd find out how I found out, would swear to stop seeing, talking to, screwing so-and-so while also disconnecting her Apple Watch, or not using her car, etc. Looking back I just kind of got used to it. I checked out of the relationship in any real sense. Funny enough, we'd have fights about me not being invested in the relationship during this time too. I finally had enough when I got a message out of the blue from one of her coworkers' wives, and take a second and let me know in the comments what you're thinking right now. She'd caught her husband and L texting and snapping. She sent screenshots of them to me and said that she wanted me to know. The screenshots really drove home to me that I wasn't just prone to straying, or was making mistakes over and over. I know, it's dumb, but when you're in a relationship, if you excuse one thing it gets easier the next time, and I had gotten to the point of excusing everything. We'd have our ritual fight over it, she'd end the affair, and the cycle begins again in a few months. In the screenshots from N, L was saying things like I should have done you the first time I saw you, setting up meetings, etc. I confronted L with the texts and her first reaction was annoyance that the guy didn't hide it from his wife better. It blew my mind, and when I was talking with N it was obvious she was crushed. They had 2 kids and her husband's actions were likely going to tear the family apart. And here's my loving wife mad that he was too dumb to hide it properly and she knew he couldn't handle this sort of relationship. And sent me some texts later on after the affair was in the open. L telling the guy that there's basically a code of conduct for cheaters and this guy didn't follow the rules. I snapped out of it. Like I finally felt awake after 6 years of affairs, and 10 years before that of just general abuse and incoherence. I moved into the finished half of the basement, slept on an air mattress by my gym, and started drawing up dissolution papers. I figured if the dissolution failed I could always hire an attorney and get a divorce. I ghosted L as hard as I could being in the same home. 100% gray rock. Elle started love bombing me in her own weird way. One time I got home from work and she'd bought a lamp for the basement and put it by my air mattress. Probably the sweetest thing she'd ever done for me lol. To drive home everything. A few days later she's working from home in the afternoon and doesn't hear me go into the kitchen for a drink. I can hear she's on speakerphone on the couch, and it's S, still her boss and the guy all of this started with. I hear him ask if she's alone, and she says yes. I think really, right now, as I'm prepping for the dissolution, in the same house, she's going to indulge this guy. I creep closer and listen in. He starts talking about how he's never done it in a car in an automated car wash, and thinks that would be fun. WTF. Just like, where does she find these guys? I just walk in, get behind her head on the couch, yell hi S. Nice hearing from you. Elle jumps and nearly falls off the couch. S just immediately hangs up, and I laugh and go to put on my shoes. Elle yells and that was rude. I laugh again and get my coat. Elle asks where I'm going. I say out. I must have said it in a way where she finally got it that we are done. We have been done, and now I am just wrapping it up. She runs up and blocks the door. I tell her to move and she gets this weird little smile on her face. I still remember it. Like all this was still a game, that if she blocks the door then I'll just have to stay and we'll still be married. That her plan to keep me by physically blocking the door has no chance of failing and I'm just stuck now. I grabbed her by her shoulders and picked her up and moved her, just feet off the floor right over to the side of the door, then gently back down on her feet. Told her if she tries to keep me here I will take her apart. Because I don't have it in me anymore to deal with her and all the anger I'd been pushing down my whole life was still all right there. I had never touched her violently, and still never have, but that was the closest I got. I drove off to one of my favorite local bars, hung out with friends I'd been making the last few years. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I texted Elle that I knew she had another work trip coming up that next week, and that when she got back she wouldn't be welcome back in the house. Lucky me, she never came back. Moved in with a guy she'd been seeing down there, where they both lived in his brother's dining room since said guy was unemployed and living with his brother. Again, gems. Her cheating life was a regular gem of mine. I only saw her a few times after that. She signed the paperwork I sent her with next to no changes. I used the threat that her company would fire both her and her boss if I told them of the relationship they'd carried on if she tried to be difficult, which got me the house, my car, and less than half of the over $20,000 in credit card debt I didn't know she'd racked up. Also, none of my retirement accounts got touched, which is a blessing. She came back to Ohio to sign the paperwork in December 2019 and brought her new guy, which was about as awkward as you'd expect. New guy seemed to think that I was at fault for the divorce for being abusive, and he was there in case I got violent. Again, I had never hurt her, and that includes when she'd get violent with me. I'd just pin her arms and wait for her to stop trying to hit me. I never told him that she'd cheated on me, because I'm pretty sure he was one of the guys she did it with, so I'm thinking he already knows. The other time she came back for her stuff that was still in the house, while I watched her pack up. A few months had passed. She told me she got a new apartment, and that new guy had moved in without asking. She found out when he was helping her move and set the urn with his dead dad in it on her table. She gave me a weird, help me look, and I just laughed. After that I didn't see her again. Within a week of the divorce I got cold approached by a girl at a concert and got her number, then again at a local event. Within a month I was actively dating 4 people, all of which were better than Elle in every way. My friend said that I had that fresh on the market vibe, lol. I was just happy for the first time in a very long time, and it made it easy to attract people. I calmed down a bit on dating, though I did have a few girlfriends. Doubled down on my workout routine. Went to Peru and hiked the Cordillera Blanca Mountains, and almost got stuck there when C-19 hit. Got into my ancestry after a 23andMe test and found a weird little utopian commune that was founded by a guy with my last name, though it's mostly historical buildings now. Elle tried to stay in contact over the last few years, sometimes for actual important things, mostly Bull just trying to keep me in her life somehow. I ignore it, though I've got some funny insights, like how the new guy immediately started fake proposing multiple times a week, and it was freaking her out. She texted me once saying that taxes suck as a single person, so she's getting married for tax reasons. When she found out I had found someone and got engaged, she sent a congratulations card to the house that she had hand-painted herself, which immediately went in the trash. Or the fact that a new guy was recently diagnosed with MS. I don't see Elle sticking around and suddenly finding her caring side to take care of a dude 10 years her senior with a neurological issue. In August 2020 I encountered my current wife. See, she's amazing. Had gotten out of a bad marriage with a guy who seems like a mirror image of Elle. We hit it off when I was talking with a buddy of mine and I said I'm just looking for someone normal. She heard me and we both looked at each other for a second with a funny me too. Look, got married after 2 years of dating last September, and we've never even fought once in the last year. She takes care of me. I take care of her. We talk every day and it's always beautiful. It's really tough to describe, but she's the one. I'm doing much better now. I look back on all that, for literally half of my life, and wonder why I stayed for so long and through so much, especially when it was so easy to find someone so perfect afterwards. If any of you made it this far and are currently in a bad relationship and wondering what to do, I get it. I think most of us get it. You put up with stuff that you think you never would. You think that this person you've put so much effort into can't be doing this on purpose. You'll excuse next to anything. You actively make yourself into a doormat. It's not worth it. Just get out, because whatever led to cheating once, it'll happen again and again after that. Cheaters will tell themselves whatever they need to not feel bad about themselves and their actions. They will always justify it, to themselves and to you, and you'll always wonder what they're doing when they're not with you. You deserve better, so leave, cut losses, do whatever you need to. My hang-up on divorce and low self-confidence kept me in way longer than I ever should have, and nothing that happened in the relationship in the years after I found out helped me in any way. The only person that can get you into a better headspace is yourself and focusing on you and the people that actually care about you. It gets better once you leave. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know in the comments what you think and what you would have done if you were this guy. Thanks for watching and have a great day.